Well, the markets are struggling for direction this morning, but CNBC gives us a perfect example of how a headline can sway the market on breaking news. The headline on CNBC, consumer prices rose 0.4% in September, more than expected. But then, if you dig into the numbers, you see that this should not have been the headline and that markets should actually be strong this morning after the CPI report. Tesla has just launched some crazy lease specials. We'll talk about those on the Model 3 and the Model Y. And Tesla has been outperforming early, but again, things are crazy so far this morning. And then Tesla has another big hire for the Optimus production line. You know that makes me happy. And we'll get into all of that in just a minute. This is Randy Kirk. We have two huge episodes coming up later today. Brian's going to be talking about the 4680. Holy mackerel. And then I'll do an essay on the impact of boomer wealth. That'll be for later this afternoon. Do not miss either one of these. These are both seriously important stuff. Okay. And then, of course, we'll talk about Patreon in a minute. I'm going to get a little partly personal later on that if I remember to do it. Anyway, consumer prices rose 3.7% on an annual basis and 0.4% month over month in September, topping consensus economic estimates of 3.6 and 0.3 respectively. Now, those were the headline numbers. What's included in the headline numbers? Oh, yeah, food and energy. Oh, what's been going on with energy the last couple of months? Except, what do we know has been happening with energy the last 2 weeks? Dropping like a rock. So this is why you have to dig into the numbers. Crucially, this is as the article goes on, core inflation, which is the consumer price index excluding the more volatile food and energy sub-indexes, was 4.1 in September on an annual basis, in line with the consensus forecast of exactly that, 4.1. And that is the lowest reading for core inflation since September 2021. But now listen to this. Here's where it gets super interesting. Rent and homeowner monthly payments were the biggest contributors to the price increases this month, according to the government, while used car prices fell significantly in September. Now, what I want to do is I want to turn to the full chart. You know how much this is my favorite part because I always get it all messed up when I try to go to share screen, but I'm going to do it anyway. Would somebody remind me to please turn off share screen? Were you guys there the other day when I forgot to turn off share screen? That was pretty embarrassing. All right, here we go. I want you to look at these numbers in total. Okay, I'm going to move myself out of the way a little bit here. So this is month over month, increases, decreases, whatever. And then this is the year over year, but it's not seasonally adjusted. All of these are seasonally adjusted for some reason. I don't know why they don't do seasonally adjusted here. All right, but you go down the list and you can see all items at 0.4, but then let's look here. Food, 1.1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.2. Food at home, 0.3, here's a big one, but 0, 0.2, no. Food away from home, we know about that. If you've eaten out recently, you know what's going on there. But it's only 6% year over year, but it's still recently 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. I mean, those are not big increases. Then look at energy. Here's your big increases. Look here. Okay, now September, not so much, but they're huge over here. So that's contributing to the total for the year. Energy services, pretty much in line. Utility, pipe, gas, look at that, down 19.9 for the year. Okay, now let's come into food and energy. Let's see, all items less food and energy. 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.3, 0.3. I mean, these numbers are all in line. Apparel down. Was running around, 0.2, now down. Medical care, down. Yes, a couple of heavy months here, so making up for it. Shelter, but here you go. Here's your shelter numbers. Transportation services up strongly, transportation services, but medical care services down. So you can see, if I look at that chart, I don't know about you, let me know in the comments below. What did you see there? I saw really, really good numbers. I saw something that in general would tell me things are definitely under control, except for housing. But we've talked about this. The housing numbers are a bit confounding. As noted earlier, I've been doing close analysis for 15 years for my client, Bill Raymond. During that time, he's risen from a relative newcomer in the mortgage business to a top 1% producer in the US. And I understand this market. I've helped Bill write a book on how to sell homes. I did another book earlier on how to buy homes with another one of my clients. I know the mortgage industry. I know the real estate industry really, really well. It's something that I have read. I probably have my 10,000 hours in over the last 15 years working with clients. The housing market, the rental market is flat. We've shown you that on the CPI numbers. I'm sorry, on the Trueflation numbers. It's been flat for months and months and months, but it's not showing up in these CPI numbers. And we also know that while house prices, individual real estate prices are up over the last, over the summer, they're not going to stay up over the winter, but they will go back up again in the spring, especially with interest rates coming down. And I'm promising you, interest rates are coming down. I have my eye on something I want to do as interest rates come down. So if you're in the market at all for a mortgage over the next 6 months, you're going to want to give Bill Raymond a call, and his information is down below in the description. So if you look at the overall CPI, you can't even look at the headline numbers or even the information that they're giving you in the main stories. You have to dig in. And I think as the day goes by, what's going to happen is these folks are going to start, the major investors, the people that really make the big decisions are going to be digging in, and they're going to see what you just saw, and that is inflation's done. It's over. We're out of this, the inflation problem being at the top of the list. All right, very important information for the bull market this morning. I've been talking about this, and that is the earnings reports that are coming out in the third quarter, and especially what we are anticipating for the fourth. But listen to this. Barron says Bank of America Securities is predicting actual, non-lowballed third quarter earnings growth of 4%. It points to corroborating evidence from what it calls the early reporters. Results of already trickled in for 21 companies in the S&P 500, many with weird fiscal years that result in offbeat earnings dates. More than 3/4 of these early reporters have produced upside surprises. Bank of America finds 70% correlation between that number and the proportion of upside surprises for all companies. Goes on to say, forecasts for future results look even better. Consensus estimates have fourth quarter earnings growing 8%. Take some off for downward revisions and then add it back in for upward surprises, and you might end up back where you started, according to this writer. Goldman reckons the result will be strong enough to pull full 2023 earnings up 1% over last year, and it puts 2024 growth at 5%. Bank of America forecasts 2% growth this year and 6% next year. Now that's enough information. If that's your next leg on the bull market, that's why I keep predicting that the next leg of the bull market is a slam dunk. Inflation's over, earnings are looking strong. That's all we need to know. I mean, that's basically the two things you care about. Speaking of Bank of America, the focus will now shift to bank earnings, which is the biggest potential headwind that we're looking at. Tomorrow, you've got BlackRock, Wells, and Chase giving their earnings. I'll be all over that tomorrow. All right, more on earnings. I told you I was going to report on Delta because why? Because transportation has been one of the items that has continued, especially travel. The travel industry has been something that the inflation has been staying up high. Delta is reporting profits rose nearly 60% in the third quarter as strong travel demand continued through the summer, particularly for international trips, though the carrier forecast full year earnings toward the low end because of the increase in fuel prices. They also said they expect solid travel demand in the last 3 months of the year, estimating revenue will rise 9 to 12% from the same quarter in 2022. It's down a lot from the 60% with share earnings. Oh no, that was on earnings. I'm sorry. So their total sales will increase 9 to 12% from fourth quarter last year. Anyway, Trueflation also, I got this kind of order. I'm sorry. Trueflation drops big this morning, dropping to 2.37. We will be under 2.0 and then continuing to drop. I keep saying this. I don't know how. there's nothing to tell me, there's not a single piece, not a shred of evidence that inflation is going to return. And there's every evidence. I keep reminding you about the Costco saying that they believe we're heading towards deflation. All right, let's see. We've got Zach, Black Model 3 again, reporting this morning that the Tesla has got two hot leases out. A Model 3 rear-wheel drive is $329 a month, and a Model Y rear-wheel drive for $399 a month. Now, I think they had some numbers close to this before. Now, remember, this is because Tesla will get the $7,500 credit. So they can build that into the lease. So $329 for holy mackerel. So those are, if you're thinking about leasing a Tesla, this is the time. All right, and then the Model Y long range, $469 a month. Model 3 long range, $439 a month. Those are big drops from $549 and $509. You got the Model Y Performance at $539. That's dropping from $629, and the Model 3 Performance at $529, dropping from $609. So these are 36-month leases with $4,500 down. They probably do not include the option to buy at the end. Tesla normally doesn't allow you to buy at the end. They want them for the robotaxi fleet. All right, this is from @TeslaBot Journal. He's reporting that Tesla has just posted a new job opening for a production supervisor to manage the actuator prototype production line. The person will lead the team that assembles the most torque and power-dense humanoid actuators in the world. Okay, so they've already, what they're saying is they've got these actuators already dialed in. They've got the best, the most torque, the most power-dense humanoid actuators in the world. But what they're going to do now is they need this guy to come in and oversee the iterations that are going to take place between now and sometime in November when they're going to start tooling up. That's my theory, okay? Teslarati is reporting that Tesla has officially released its API documentation to support third-party apps. Okay, so there have been third-party apps that have been operating in the gray zone without an official API, but now that is being released. So here we go, Entertainment Center. Okay, Tesla shares will now likely be buffeted around in the short term between those who are worried about the third quarter earnings next week. We'll know next week what's going to go on with the third quarter earnings. You know that I'm expecting a beat because I think the, the margins will be higher than expected. Energy will be higher than expected. And so we'll get a slight beat on the street, but it will be down from last quarter. And then so you'll have that group that's worried about what happened in the third quarter. You'll have another group that is already focused on the fourth quarter, where we're expecting 500,000 shipments and margins to continue to increase, energy to continue to increase. And also, you'll have a third group of people that are very worried about missing out on the Cybertruck release and what's going to happen with the stock after that. So there will also be the news of the Cybertruck handover will be coming out during this month. I'm 100% sure of that. I'm just calling it right now. Sometime in the month of October, the announcement will be made for when that is going to take place. Probably going to take place on November 16th or thereabouts. This is not based on any information coming from folks at Tesla or some special information that I have, just my own connecting the dots. So hard to know. You know, you guys, some people are critical of me for making these guesses. And don't make your investment decisions based on my guesses. I am not an investment advisor. This is not investment advice, but I'm going to still make my pick. 300 by the end of the month, all-time high, 410 by the end of January, and 700 by the end of next year. And that doesn't count the robot, it doesn't count robotaxi, and it doesn't count even FSD being fully 100% ready to go. Of course, these are obviously there could be incredibly upside surprises, and there could be incredible downside news like Elon returning to his planet. We always know that that's one of the big problems that we are facing sometime in the future. Anyway, Where are the numbers right now? Like I told you, they've just been looking for direction. They continue to look for direction. You've got the Dow, which was up, is now down 95 points. The NASDAQ, which was up, is now down 17. S&P down 10, and Tesla down 84 cents, which was up $2 at one point. So all over the place, but Tesla right now is headed back up again, as is, let's look at the NASDAQ. Yeah, the NASDAQ is trying. It's still like it's all over the place because, again, I think people are trying to figure out what's real about the CPI numbers this morning. I really think that's what's going on because there's really no other news. Believe me, I've looked. There's no other news. Except for that earnings information, which I think would be positive. It looks like the Magnificent Seven are all up this morning, except for Microsoft, which is down a little bit, and of course Tesla, which is down a little bit. And then the Cathie Woods are all down, which is a little surprising because, well, let's take a look. Last time I looked, everything was doing fine with regard to interest rates, but let's take a look at what's going on. We have got the Bitcoin down barely this morning. Let's call it flat. We've got the dollar actually up this morning, last check. We have gold up barely, again, flat. Everything's flat this morning. Everybody's trying to decide what to do. Brent is up 120 a buck. They have changed have changed what you can see now in the oil patch. You've got Texas Intermediate is up a buck and Brent is up a buck. Okay, let's go back here. This is really messing me up with the way that I like to look at things here. Bonds. So the bond is up a little bit. So that's probably why the Cathie Woods are down. Everybody's struggling right now. I'm telling you, they're trying to figure out what to do about this. So the 2-month is up, not even a basis point. The 2-year is up 7 basis points, and the 10-year is up 4.5 basis points at 4.643. So there you have all of that. The going back again. Okay, Tesla continues to try to go toward the green. All right, let's get partly personal here. Oh, first of all, yesterday, a very big video you're going to want to go back and look at, a Brian White video that did extremely well, talking about all the different factories and what's going on in particular over at Reno. So I'll put the card up for that one. And coming up later today, I told you we've got a couple of amazing videos, one from Wang on the 4680 cells, very important video, and one from me on what's going to happen with the baby boom money, the huge amounts of money in the pockets of the baby boomers. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what I do, okay? A little partly personal. I know that you know that I enjoy this. There's just no getting around it. Everything about this show is fun for me, okay? But it is a full, literally at least 40-hour job, all right? I work 65 hours a week, roughly, because I still have my other businesses. I still have a business on Amazon. I still have a business dealing with my remaining clients. I have about 5 clients left. As you know, Bill Rayman, the mortgage guy, and Shaila Chamberlain, the co-author of me on that book over there, Shaila Chamberlain, who is my CPA and should be your CPA. Anyway, all of their information is down below. So I'm working 65 hours a week at the ripe young age of, do I have to repeat it again? Yeah, 3/4 of a century. Okay, so you know I love doing this, but it's a 40-hour-a-week gig, okay? Lots and lots of time being put in for you. If you don't have $5 a month, don't even listen. Don't even be persuaded. I've had somebody say the other day, but Randy, you know, I'm on fixed income, $5 a month. No, I'm not interested. Please don't send it. I don't want it, okay? But if you have $5 a month and you're getting anything out of this, and you think that getting breaking news during the day would be like an extra bonus, you know, hit Patreon and join up. Try it for 7 days because you get a 7-day free trial. Or if you want to join at the $10 level, that's even better. And I know there are folks out there. I know there are some of you out there that can afford the $10 a month and that are getting $10 of value out of my shows. And might like to get that breaking news all day long. And of course, right now, you also get at the $10 level, you're going to get one of these. And you know you want one. I mean, it's the greatest little, it's so much fun. I mean, look at the thickness. It is a solid 9-ounce. I mean, it's really a solid deal. I keep forgetting to mention, for some of you who haven't seen me do the demo before, I mean, this is the package it comes in. It is a nice, magnetic clasp type package. So if you want to give it as a gift, it just looks great in the box. People are buying 10 at a time to give as gifts. If you want to buy 10 or more, please let me know in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter through the DM, or my email is everywhere, so it's not hard to find my email, or just ask me for my email. So you can get that if you join Patreon at the $10 level for free, or you can pay $25 for it. Now they're selling pretty good already on Amazon. It's one of the best items I've ever had in terms of the first couple of weeks out there on Amazon. And because it's hard in the very beginning on Amazon, I'm not sure if you know, it takes a while before these get traction on Amazon, and you got to spend money on advertising on Amazon to get it started. But they're doing well. I'm very happy with the results so far. But I'm selling it for $29.99 or $95 or something like that on Amazon. But you can get either one, the camo rather, or the regular one. Please let me know which one you want when you order. You get those for $25 if you buy them from me. Just go on to paypal.me/Randy Kirk, all lowercase letters, and buy as many as you want times $25. And then if you happen to be in Canada or someplace out of the country, please let me know. Please add another $20 because I have to pay that extra freight to get it to you. All right, that's my partly personal part, but I do, as I like to do, I always like to go back and take one last look. See, Tesla is in the green. I'm telling you, everything's going to end up in the green today, except maybe the Dow. I think NASDAQ, S&P, and Tesla will all end up in the green. Interestingly, the Magnificent Seven have slid slightly into the red. Even as I'm watching, they're going back in the green. Did I say the very first thing I said this morning? Everybody's looking for direction this morning, and it continues to be true, but I think it'll end up in the green. That's just me. Do not make an investment decision based on that. All right, I'll see you later today a couple of times. It's been great talking to you.